2026 has been surprisingly light on truly big releases so far. August may not completely turn that around, but it definitely gives us more to play. And these are 10 brand new releases that could define the end of your summer. What's up, guys? It's Broz, and here we go. Mortal Shell started as a small, rough-edged Souls-like made by a tiny, independent team. 6 years later, the sequel has become PlayStack's biggest game investment ever, reportedly around 10 times larger, while Cold Symmetry has grown to roughly 30 developers. For context, the first game sold 2 million copies. June's open beta gave the sequel a rare public stress test. It pulled in over 250,000 downloads in its first weekend, and the Steam response currently sits at around 92% positive. Players praise the faster combat and denser exploration, while bugs, balance issues, and the lack of controller remapping were all reported months before release. Cold Symmetry removed the stamina bar completely, so dodging and attacking are no longer limited by a green meter. Pressure now comes from enemy posture, timing, positioning, and the returning ability to harden your body in the middle of an attack. Medieval firearms, including a brutal shotgun-style sidearm, can be mixed directly into melee combos. 8 playable shells come with different abilities, and progression now takes place across a compact, connected open world. Mortal Shell 2 launches August 20th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Hell Let Loose Vietnam has already survived its first firefight, and it happened before launch. More than 350,000 players entered the May open beta, where reports of unstable frame rates, crashes, texture streaming stutter, and server lag spread quickly. Team 17 and Expression Games reacted by moving the release from June 18th to August 13th, giving the devs extra time for performance, stability, and general gameplay fixes. Underneath that rough build, Vietnam pushes the series much harder into asymmetric warfare. American forces bring helicopters, napalm, and heavy air support, while North Vietnamese squads build tunnel networks and appear behind lines that looked secure seconds earlier. Armed patrol boats turn rivers into active combat lanes, and 50v50 matches still rely on commanders, squad leaders, supply chains, and people actually using voice chat. Expression Games also went unusually far with the jungle. Gunfire was recorded at the Royal Armories. One specialist artist focuses on foliage, and even the insects and frogs were selected for period authenticity. Bushes and branches react when soldiers move through them, so careless footsteps can expose an ambush before anyone fires. A Plague Tale used to arrive with a technical flex. Requiem could push up to 300,000 rats on screen, and both previous games were remembered for visuals that looked unusually expensive for their scale. Resonance has not created that same first impression. The latest footage is clear enough, but the environments, lighting, and character work now sit much closer to standard action-adventure territory. At times, the production looks cheaper, which is a strange step down for a series that built such a strong visual identity. Combat has caused even more concern. Sophia is faster and far more aggressive than Amisha, using a sword, dagger, parries, dodges, and a grappling hook. On paper, that gives Asobo more freedom. In motion, several animations look abrupt, attacks overlap awkwardly, and recent hands-on coverage also described dodging and strafing as lacking weight. The series once relied on vulnerability, stealth, and huge rat swarms. Resonance is shifting toward Tomb Raider and Uncharted territory, with climbing, ruins, puzzles, and direct melee fights. Set 15 years before Requiem, the story follows a younger Sophia across Minotaur Island, an ancient Minoan flashback separated by more than 2,000 years. The finished game lands August 27th on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Game Freak spent decades making Pokemon, so seeing the studio build a grim action RPG with parries, ruin Japan, and a sword-wielding heroine still looks unreal. The internal team is small, with Game Freak directing the project while outside studios handle much of the production. Emma and her dog Ku fight as a pair, but Ku is more than an automatic companion. Successful parries charge points for his abilities, and opening his command menu slows time, turning combat into a tactical RPG. Emma handles the faster side with a katana, ranged attacks, and plant-like hair that works as a grappling line, a bridge, and even a lift that launches her above enemies for aerial kills. Fresh previews were surprisingly positive. Game Informer praised the vine traversal and satisfying stealth from above, while GameSpot found the Sekiro-style rhythm more forgiving than From Software's combat. Death removes no resources, resting does not respawn enemies, and open shortcuts stay open. Some journalists remained cautious about the story and sparse explanations, but the combat left a strong impression. The journey covers roughly 10 stages and around 30 hours. Game Freak's strangest experiment arrives August 4th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC, with Game Pass access from day one. Marvel fighting games spend years tied to Capcom, so handing the license to Arc System Works immediately changed the temperature. The studio behind Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ rebuilt the heroes with exaggerated anime designs, sharper silhouettes, and far more personality than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite managed in 2017. Fighting Souls runs 4-5-4. Although both teams share a single health bar, you begin with 2 available fighters, then unlock the rest during the match through wall breaks, throws, or losing a round. That keeps battles short, but recent hands-on reports also warned that assists, effects, and stage transitions can become visually chaotic. Once the controls click, previews describe the combat as responsive, technical, and surprisingly easy to start learning. 20 characters are confirmed for launch. Beyond the obvious Marvel headliners, the roster includes Blade, Hulk, and Deadpool. The single-player side is also getting more attention than expected. Episode mode includes 5 separate stories, one for each 4-character team, written by Kieran Gillen, the comic writer behind Uncanny X-Men, Young Avengers, and Darth Vader. The fight begins August 6th on PS5 and PC, with no Xbox version announced for now. The first sinking city almost drowned outside its own fiction. Frogware spent years fighting publisher Tōkon, even accusing the company of hacking and uploading an altered PC build. By 2024, the Ukrainian studio had become the sole publisher across every platform, so this sequel arrives without that legal mess hanging over it. Frogwares has also rebuilt the game around survival horror. The wide, repetitive open world and constant archive visits are gone, replaced by denser locations, scarce ammunition, crafting, puzzles, and proper safe rooms. Recent 2-hour previews compared the result to Resident Evil 2 and Silent Hill 2, while admitting the gunplay still looks rougher than either. Combat has more impact than before. Enemies expose fleshy weak points, and bear traps can save bullets when a room gets crowded. Investigation survives in a smaller role. Optional clues uncover extra story details and resources, while a public PC demo now covers the opening hour. The game also includes some wonderfully disgusting puzzles. In one hospital section, progress requires finding the preserved face of a nurse and using it to bypass a security system. Arkham finally floods on August 18th when The Sinking City 2 reaches PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Star Wars has tried almost every genre, but Zero Company lands in unusually capable hands. Bit Reactor was founded by Firaxis veterans, including XCOM's former art director, and senior developers came directly from XCOM and Marvel's Midnight Suns. After 4.5 hours with the game, PC Gamer praised its production values and remembered individual missions weeks later. Combat uses familiar turn-based cover tactics, with 3 action points per soldier and plenty of room for nasty combinations. A Jedi can drag enemies into explosives, suppressing fire can punish reinforcements before they settle in, and even story companions can die permanently. Losing someone therefore changes more than a stat sheet. Between missions, the camera drops into a third-person view inside your base. Operators can be recruited, customized, and sent on limited-time assignments, while conversations and shared missions build bonds that unlock combat benefits. The rhythm sounds closer to Mass Effect 2 between battles, only without romance. Hawks can be customized across several Star Wars species, while the squad mixes clones, mercenaries, a Mandalorian, and a Jedi Padawan. Anakin Skywalker also appears, although Zero Company remains its own covert Clone Wars story. The operation begins August 27th on PC and the current PlayStation and Xbox consoles. For older players who still remember Rockstar's Bully, Agefield High Rock the School is about as close to a new schoolyard troublemaker as we have right now. Set in 2002, it follows Sam, a new student with 3 months left before graduation, and 2 friends planning to leave their mark on the school. You can attend classes, skip them, ride around town, fight bullies, earn money, buy clothes and bikes, tattoos, and even dirty magazines. Teachers react when Sam disappears during school hours, while police become involved once the rebellion spills beyond on campus. Refugium promises an 8 to 10 hour story, 32 main missions, 15 side activities, and 2 endings. The tone is proudly stupid in the best early 2000s way, pulling from American Pie, Road Trip, and that era of crude teen comedies. Those character faces are a comedy act. Huge expressions, awkward smiles, and enough visual cringe to make every cutscene look slightly cursed. Judging by the footage, that discomfort is clearly part of the style. Agefield High Rock the School releases on PC August 12th, while the PS5 and Xbox Series versions are planned for later this year. Permafrost is a cooperative survival game set on an Earth trapped in permanent winter after the moon shattered. Players scavenge frozen cities, hunt, repair machinery, and push deeper into the wasteland by restoring abandoned shelters. Temperature affects what the character can do. Batteries are treated like precious resources, and sudden storms can force the group to build an emergency camp. Solo play includes a dog that scouts danger, carries supplies, and sniffs out loot, but the systems look better built for a team dividing jobs between exploration, crafting, and base construction. Visually, the budget shows. Characters sometimes sink into snow, climbing and melee animations are stiff, and several transitions still look unfinished. Permafrost comes from a 15-person studio, and most of the effort appears to have gone into weather systems, resource pressure, shelter networks, and 4-player cooperation. The August build will already include several biomes, hundreds of items and recipes, the opening story, side quests, and working 4-player co-op. Space Rocket plans to keep the game in early access for at least 12 months, adding more regions, NPCs, enemies, vehicles, and technical improvements along the way. The long winter begins August 21st on PC. No console versions have been announced. At first glance, Once Human looks like 5 games fighting for control of the same screen. It is a free survival shooter where cosmic horror, base building, giant bosses, and collectible creatures collide in one strange apocalypse. That chaos is why people stayed. Strange companion creatures can fight beside you, produce resources, or turn household objects into workers. Bases become homes, weapon builds go deep, and the shared world throws groups into public battles. After 2 years on PC, it holds 78% positive reviews across 180K Steam ratings, while recent ratings sit closer to 90%. The complaints are consistent. New players face overloaded menus, too many currencies, and systems introduced faster than the game explains them. Seasonal servers and progression resets caused backlash at launch, although permanent servers now allow worlds to continue indefinitely. Bugs and uneven performance have never fully disappeared. The console version arrives with a recently added first-person mode, full crossplay, and shared progression. For a free multiplayer game, Once Human could make a loud console debut, especially with NetEase games behind it. The company showed last year that it knows how to launch a free RPG with where winds meet. Once Human reaches PS5 and Xbox Series consoles on August 25th. Twisted Tower is the kind of indie game whose development has largely happened in public. Thomas Brush is both the head of Atmos Games and a game development YouTuber, known for discussing the business of making games while spending about 5 years building this one. He previously created Pinstripe and Neversong, and 3D Realms is publishing the new project. The setup is basically BioShock trapped inside a cursed 1950s theme park. You climb through 5 themed areas, including a hotel, water park, clown casino, carnival forest, and space station, while corrupted fairy tale mascots try to tear you apart. Weapons match the setting: a rubber band pistol, dart-firing Tommy gun, bubblegum chain gun, and even a farting shotgun. Toys unlock grappling, dashing, and new traversal options, while branching paths are designed to make repeat runs less predictable. The old demo earned strong reactions for its atmosphere, smooth movement, and surprisingly punchy combat. Players also called out inaccurate aiming, shader stutter, intrusive tutorial pop-ups, and stiff reload animations, so the final release still has a few obvious pressure points. This 5-year YouTube development diary finally becomes a real PC game on August 18th. Let me know in the comments what caught your eye and what you're planning to play this August. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and if this games still aren't enough, I've got one more video for you right here.